Yep.
But when you didn't take when you forgot to take your medication on the weekend, they made you weed the garden an hour a day for 7 days.
Yep.
Weed the driveway, sorry. Wow.
Yeah, which was pebbles, so you had to lean on pebbles, kneel on pebbles.
So
It's very painful.
It sounds like a prison. Did it feel like prison?
Actually, that's exactly how I would describe it. You are cut off from everything about the outside world. You don't watch TV, you don't listen to radio, you don't really have access to net at all. It's just you're cut off from the outside world, which is pretty scary.
Yeah, we hear other stories too about not having any hot water and sewage problems. Did you experience any of that?
All of those happened while I was there. Often we would run out of hot water, but it wasn't just that. It was because the pilot light would turn itself off on the gas system. So, and there wasn't anyone who worked there that knew how to do it. They had a maintenance man who knew how to light the pilot light again, but it was often a very difficult thing to do. So we would go for 2 or 3 days without hot water, and in that time we were forced to have cold showers. Then there was we had problems with the sewage system, so we actually had to use portaloos for a couple of months, and that kind of thing. And also there was always the times that we ran out of water because we were on tank water. We would run out of water quite often. And have to get it come and filled back up, but it could take a day or two to come and fill the tank back up. It just depended.
Wow.
Yep.
And what about access to professional medical help? Well, while you were inside, did you have access to professional psychiatrists or psychologists or doctors?
Okay. Well, I actually did see a psychiatrist 3 times while I was there. I know a lot of girls' stories, they didn't see one at all.
3 times over what period?
8 months.
You only saw a psychiatrist 3 times in 8 months?
Yes, and okay, I'll give you the contrast to that. At the moment, I see my psychiatrist every 2 weeks.
Yeah, or it's quite common when you're in therapy to see him.
Kind of therapy you need.
once a week. I mean, I went through a period where I saw my shrink once a week.
Yeah. So
they don't have any psychiatrists or psychologists on staff?
They didn't while I was there, no.
Wow.
No, you had to go out to see them. Yeah.
Wow, and you were only allowed to do that 3 times in 8 months? Was that your decision, or was that a restriction?
It was always their decision on whether you got to go to appointments, kind of thing.
So, Sarah, what kind of therapy were you able to take advantage of while you were at Mercy? If you weren't able to see a shrink or a psychologist, what was the healing process for you?
Okay, so what they would do is you have counselling once a week with your counsellor.
And is your counsellor somebody with medical training?
I believed that they were, while I was there, I believed that they were trained and that they were qualified. Since all of this has come out in the media, we have actually discovered that the majority of the counsellors who worked for Mercy when I was there actually had no qualifications.
So who were these people?
Well, see, there was 3 different counsellors while I was there. And I'm not sure if I can name them. Can I?
No, don't name them. But
no,
we don't want to get sued.
No, I don't want that.
But
sorry.
No, that's okay. But you said that you thought that they were qualified. Do you believe now that you were deliberately misled to believe they were qualified, or
I do believe that.
Or did you just assume they were qualified and never asked to see them?
In all of their stuff on their website and all the material that they give you, they tell you that they have qualified staff. So I believe that I was deliberately misled to believe that those staff had the qualifications. And it's only been since the stuff has come out in the media that we've actually realised and gone and checked their qualifications and realised that they actually didn't have the qualifications when they were seeing us.
Right. And do you believe this was just this Sunshine Coast facility, or do you think this was true throughout the facilities in Australia at the time?
Well, see, I'm not very sure, but I do believe that they have found inconsistencies with the Sunshine Coast, the Sydney home as well.
Right.
Yeah, I believe that there has been similar findings of mistreatment, etc., in the Sydney home as there have been in the Sunshine Coast home.
Okay, but this was a Mercy facility that you were in that didn't have qualified staff. So these therapy sessions you would have with this therapist, what did they involve?
I mean, you would sit in front of them. You each had a folder. Your counsellor had a folder and you had one, and it's called Restoring the Foundations. And pretty much you were read to from the pages of this folder, and then you were prayed over. So there's lots of things like ungodly beliefs, demonic oppression, that kind of thing that they go through with you, and they just pray for you over that. There wasn't really time in the counselling sessions to talk about how you were feeling or what was really going on for you. You were just expected to go through these certain modules and work through them with your counsellor.
And you were prayed over. That was basically the essence of the therapy?
Yep, that's about it. Yeah.
Wow.
One of the first things they make you do is write a list of people that you need forgiveness from. Either just before your first counselling session or in your first counselling session, you are given homework that you have to do. Write a list of people you need to forgive in your life, or people that you've hurt and that kind of thing. So you have to write that whole list, and then what they do is they pray through each one of those people. That specifically, you have to specifically pray for forgiveness from all of those people. And I'm not sure whether sometimes you're asked to write an essay, or sometimes on it, saying how you've forgiven them, that kind of thing.
Right. You had to pray for forgiveness for having caused them some sort of harm, emotional harm, or something like that.
Yep.
And was part of the process? Well, I guess you couldn't go and talk to those people because you weren't really allowed out a great deal, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking before about whether or not you had any access to professional therapists, and you were saying that you got to see a professional therapist only something like 3 times over the 8 months that you were there?
Yep. For me, it was 3 times. And in those sessions, all that was really done was adjustment of the medication where needed. If the psychiatrist deemed that you needed to be on higher doses or less, or whatever it was, they would do that in that kind of setting. Yeah.
So, tell me, Sarah, with the other girls that you knew there, I know that you said earlier that you weren't allowed to discuss why you were there with them, but do you feel like you were the only girl who didn't have a successful outcome at Mercy, or was it more common than just you?
No, there were several girls that either chose to leave or was dismissed in my time there. And I've actually found out that after I left, there were actually a couple of girls who left after me as well, when they came back a bit after the holidays and that kind of thing. So there was quite a high turnover of people. There were several that graduated, but there were a lot of people that also came and then just left as well after staying for a short period of time. Wow.
And have you spoken to those girls since? Do you have some sort of contact with any of the other girls?
I have spoken with 1 or 2 that I have just in random situations met up with, seeing them in a shopping centre or something like that, and had brief conversations with them then. And in both the cases of those, they were girls that one had graduated but then cut herself off completely from Mercy, and is still having problems